back where I rest my head. There's nothing I can see. Darkness becomes me, but I'm already there. I'm already there. Wherever there is you, I will be there too.
So I came out to the shop to start the electrolysis process here, and it's 8 degrees outside. Looks like we're gonna have to chip our forge out. I think an hour by the wood stove ought to do it. So I soaked all the parts in a really thick solution of simple green. They've been in there for about 3 days, just to loosen up all of the big chunks of different things and the grease. We don't need to put all that stuff in electrolysis. You can see here, this stuff was really carboned on, and I couldn't even hardly scrape it off, and that simple green has loosened it up. And you can see there where it comes off real easy now. It's nice and soft. So I'll just get the big chunks out off of here, and then we'll get all the stuff introduced into the tank. So after soaking in the simple green, I've went through here and just using some lacquer thinner and a small brush, I've went in and just really degreased everything, and taken a scraper here, and I'm scraping off all the gunk and the deposits. See that stuff on there? Is that really it's really loose after the simple green, so most of it is just wiping off, and so just about ready. This one here is just about, I'd say this one's done here, but the gears cleaned up really nice. There's actually not even any rust on them. I just need to get a little ice pick in there and clean. See how that simple green loosened all that stuff up? That was rock hard. You were not getting that out of there, but we don't want any of that in there. We'll want to clean this out and do it properly. So we'll get all this stuff off of here and out and clean all these teeth out. Look at these teeth here. They've got all those deposits in there. You see that? Nice and soft now. And we want these to be pretty clean before we go into electrolysis. Electrolysis will remove some grease and stuff, but it'll get the water real dirty, and we basically want to look to that for getting the rust off. So we got these washers. We'll make sure we'll take those off. These are rubber, still soft, still good. Those would be hard to replace, so we'll just reuse those. They don't look like there's any problem there. But yeah, okay. So I'm not going to electrolysis tank all of this stuff because I just don't know. I'm concerned about this particular piece here. You can see here, I said brass, and I thought these were brass. Some of you said that perhaps they're bronze. I don't know. I'm assuming bronze is probably a little bit harder than brass. That could be. I don't know about that. But what I do know is I do know that that is copper right there. And I do not think it's a good idea to put copper and steel in electrolysis. So I'm going to use my sandblasting cabinet. I've got glass beads in there now, and I'll bead all of this. I'm not gonna risk it. It's just too precious to me. I don't know. So, but this stuff here is just punched in. So we'll do this here, this cover. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this tube. We've got this. Doesn't have enough rust on it to worry about. We'll glass bead that. We'll glass bead the gears very lightly. No, I won't. Just leave those alone. But we'll put these parts in the tank. So let's get that set up right now. So this is a plastic bucket that I'm using for the electrolysis. These buckets are the best buckets I've ever used. They are made by the Fjord company. I think it's spelled FJORD. They make a lot of stuff for livestock. I use these buckets for everything. These were a gift to me. They're made in Australia. And I don't know if they sell them on Amazon. If they do, when this video goes up, I'll put a link over there. You can go to my store, wranglermart.com, and I'll put a container section there if I can find these and where to get them, because they're wonderful. So here is the electrolysis. What do we got going on here? So around the perimeter, we've got three steel stakes, these little electrode deals, and they're all connected with a heavy copper wire that runs all the way around the perimeter. That comes out here and we'll hook this to the battery charger. Here in the center, I've got a steel bar with steel wire in it. We don't want copper down in the water because the electrolysis process will really eat up that copper or pull something out of it, makes the water really dirty. So I've got steel baling wire and I'm suspending these parts. They're not touching the bottom, and we're going to put these in a special water solution before we hook up the power. So I'll put the last one in here and then we'll mix up the water mixture and then plug it in and see what happens. I've never used electrolysis before, and there's two reasons why I'm doing it. One is curiosity. I'm just curious to see how well it works. I have a sandblast cabinet, and so when I restore parts like this, I can simply go there and take care of them. But not everyone has one of those, and so as of late, when I do videos, I want to do videos. I'm tired of videos on YouTube put on by guys that have all this awesome equipment and say, okay, here we're gonna make something, and then they start using a shop that has $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 worth of woodworking equipment in it. You know, how many people have that? I mean, I know I have a few things, more things than most people do, and it's not because I have an excess of money, but because I needed them for my business, and that business I no longer run, and I still have the tools. So that's the reason why I have a lot of things that not everyone has, plasma torches and welders and such. But this is something that we can all do. And so I want to really focus on that in future videos, that poor man's concept, or the common man's. I think common man's would be a better word. Things that we can all do without having to go out and buy it, spend a bunch of our hard-earned money on equipment that we don't need. Okay, so I've got all those suspended there. And I don't want them touching the electrode, and they're not. So this isn't going to get jostled. So this is all ready to go. So let's mix up the water mixture. So the water mixture is nothing special. It's just tap water and super washing soda right here. You can get this at any place, anywhere. I didn't know what it was. I don't know the science behind it. I'm not going to blind you with science I don't know, but there's going to be some chemists that can come in on the subject or in the comments and maybe explain how this process works. I'm just simply following the instructions. But super washing soda is what you want, not baking soda. There's something in here that baking soda doesn't have. I don't know, remember how much. I'm going to pour about, what's that, probably 6 gallons, 7 gallons in that, maybe 5 or 6 gallons. I'm going to pour probably a cup and a half, 2 cups, maybe 2 cups in there with water submerging the parts. So I need about 3 inches more water. So I've got the remaining water here, and so I'm going to add my soda here in this last bit. I'm not sure how much that soda I have in there, half a box or so. We don't want it well, that soda's still in there. We don't want it touching the water, touching the copper. So make sure you keep the water line below the copper. Make sure that our copper's not in the water. We're all connected right here. This is going to go to the positive of our battery charger, this is going to go to the negative. Now I've got a metal rod across here. It's a concrete form stake. It's all metal. It's going to conduct. I've got baling wire sitting on this. So if you're going to use wood or plastic, something that's non-conductive across here, make sure you connect all these wires when you connect it up to your battery charger. So you don't need very much. I've even had some guys, I couldn't remember exactly the sequence on how to connect this up. It's the negative that goes to the parts, and the positive that goes to the copper wire around the electrodes. And anyway, I was watching a YouTube video just to double check that from a guy that had good success with this on an old crescent wrench. It was really rusty. He said you don't need the baking soda. He didn't use it and it worked fine. So 2 amps on your battery charger is enough. The battery charger that I have is 6 amps. And so, well, more is better, right? I don't know if more is better. I just don't want to drag my great big battery charger in here. So we'll try it with the 6 amp charger, and then we'll see how it goes. So after plugging it in, certainly have current running through it. You can see there was a little bit of water on that, and I saw there's you can see a little bit of arcing, burning that water off. That'll dry off here in a minute, but current is flowing. Oh, I can see the bubbles now. Okay, so here we can see, oh, it's working really good. So if we're working, you can see the bubbles there coming up. It's something to do with splitting the hydrogen atoms from the, you know, I'm not a scientist, I don't know these things. But I know bubbles are good. So the forge blower's been in the electrolysis tank for 20 hours. Let's see what happened. From what I see here, I would conclude, by and large, that this is a total fail. There's the housing. Just as rusty as it was before. Now, this on the other hand, there is a lot of rust that has been removed on that. Not all, but some. The crank handle, some, not all. Little bit there, not much. And on the gear housing, yeah, not great. Now I also threw in this piece here that was, it's one of my old saw gauges that was given to me by one of my subscribers. And actually that has taken a fair amount of rust off there. Not all, but I would say about 50% of it. So, what do I conclude here? I would say chances are I probably did something wrong. Because I've seen many videos of people that have done this and it worked better. They had better success than I have. I wonder what this is. You see, this is the cover for the gears, and the handle would orient like this here. So there's a little, looks like a little. I would say that was a way for you to get grease or oil into the gears. Wouldn't you say that? See how that little thing is right there? But it looks like there's a little, almost like a ball. I wonder if that's supposed to be a spring. Oh, there we go. It's moving. Yes. It's a spring in there. So that way you could take a small grease gun or something, and the spring pushes against the housing, keeps it from getting dirt in there, but you could compress that a little bit and squirt a little bit of grease in there without having to take the handle, pull the handle cover off. It definitely has removed some of the rust, but not very much. It's very unsatisfactory. So let me know in the comments if you have experience with this, or if maybe you can explain to me if I did something wrong. I'm sure that I did. I just don't know what that would be. I could try it again, but I want to get to work on it. So I'm going to take these pieces and dry them off. I'm going to take them over to the glass bead cabinet, and we'll sandblast all these and bring everything back and come together.